Hey guys, how's it going? It's Kara here with a Genshin Impact video. And in today's video, I want to talk about my concerns potentially with the in-game of Genshin Impact. This is comparing this game strictly to other gachas and other mobile style games. I've been playing a lot of them and covering quite a few different versions of these style games on my YouTube channel. So I've kind of been around the block in that regard. And I want to make sure I'm not just assuming that I'm talking to other mobile game players, because I think this game, to its credit, has been so successful that it's been so far reaching that I think this is the first mobile game for a lot of people. They have no frame of reference for what is fair, what is okay, like what is good, what is predatory when it comes to these practices. And so what I want to say first, this is not really related to the video, but what I'm seeing is from the pull system and from the stamina system, this is by far the worst stamina system that I've seen in a game. Correct me if there's other worse games when it comes to stamina, but when it comes to most of the popular games that in the gacha genre, Raid Shadow Legends, Notorious, this stamina system is, right up there. Also, the pull system is right up there with some of the worst that I've seen. And when it comes to rates, it's some of the worst rates and some of the most punishing when it comes to stamina. So I'm comparing these criticisms are coming from someone that's played a lot of mobile games, that has a frame of reference on what is okay, what is not okay, what's a good version of this, what's a bad version of this, stuff like that. And that's where these concerns are coming from. And I want to make sure I say that, especially for the people that are really enjoying this game and this is their first version, their first experience of one of these games. Because I think for most people, I know I'm in a far outlier of someone that is already adventuring 27. I played, 2 days, already adventuring 27. Yes, content creator, really forcing myself to play significantly more than the average. So I'm definitely from a different perspective, but this is also from a perspective that knows that. And I'm trying to putting myself in the perspective of a viewer, which is someone that for the most part hasn't played as much. And I've intentionally over leveled myself and overplayed the game that I normally would in enjoyable race, because I want to have as much information as possible for my viewers. And so I also want to say that too about my adventure rank as well, and I know there's people higher than me. I'm not saying that I'm really high, but for most people, I'm way higher than the average. And I also wanted to say that too, when it comes to this opinion of the game, it's comparing it to other gacha games of this genre. And also, I know I'm significantly higher than the average when it comes to the adventure concerns I'm seeing, and I'm trying to adapt that opinion for people that don't take the game as seriously as I am. That out of the way, now I want to get into my point about my concerns with the end game with this game. I've been having a lot of fun playing this game, been really going ham for the past few days. And I think it's been great. This is significantly, this game is definitely setting a new precedent for the gacha style, this genre for a mobile game gacha style. This is definitely raising the bar in a lot of ways. But I do have some concerns that I wanted to bring up, especially for someone that's been playing it as much as I have. I think definitely above average in playtime for most people. Okay. So around adventure rank 25 to 27, and then further beyond like 30 and stuff, the progression system really starts to some of the flaws really start to become apparent, especially when you run out of quests to do in game. As you start to run out of these, yes, right now I'm currently in adventure rank 27, and then eventually I will get back to the main story at 29 and be able to take advantage of doing the quests to get more adventure rank. Because as you do these quests, you get significantly more than you normally have. Like the main story is 500 adventure rank. Then some of the main story that they're not Archon quests, but they're not world quests, but they're in the middle there. They're still they're animated and stuff. You get 350 for those, and then they have multiple chains to each story. So you're getting significantly more adventure rank for those quests than you normally do with world quests or when you don't have quests in general. And when you don't have these quests, you really start to feel like the progression takes a massive nosedive and it gets really stagnant. So what you can do from that point is you could find chests. Those give you 10 to 20. You can find challenges. You can do the ley lines. You could farm bosses with resin, stuff like that. So there's not much to do when it comes to farming XP. And then how the game transitions, especially after Adventure Rank 30, is going to be mainly it's going to be domains, because right when you hit why 30 is such a big deal is because that's when purples or 4-star artifacts start to drop, and there's no way to buy them. So you have to do them through. You have to farm these. You have to play the game to actually get these. So Adventure Rank 35, and you start to see consistent purples, and then when you get to 35, 40 here, that's when you get the 5-star, like net 5-star pieces. So that's why when you get to that point, then the game becomes essentially farming these domains. And then once you farm these domains, Spiral Abyss is going to be the hard piece of content that you're going to look to try to beat. And after that, there's really, as long as you're enjoying the game, searching and exploring and finding all this stuff, really big map to do that. And that's potentially fun for people. So my issue is I feel like the game is actually fun to play, but there's not enough resin within a day to actually be able to make meaningful progress for your account per day. And I think that's a bummer, because most of these games, I like to get to the end game of these games to really see what their in-game grind is. And I think this game has a good potential setup, but it's really gated by not many attempts. And not like you're going to sit here and you get, let's say you sign on, you have full resin, you have no refreshes, you want to be purely free to play, and you've grinded all the way up to level 30, for example. This is the part of the game where it's smart to actually start to hit these domains. You're going to do a few of them. Like they're anywhere from 20 to 40 cost on things that actually take resin. And I want to say the weekly takes 60. So what, you get 6 attempts, 4 attempts, and that's it. And you're kind of done. So like, let's say you get into a party with someone, you co-op, and really the only thing you can do in co-op, you can, since if the only thing you can do where you both benefit when you're 30 is doing domains together. So you can't do a Spiral Abyss together. So it's just kind of a letdown, because you're going to run out of energy. Then it's going to be like, okay, well, I guess I'll kind of do my own thing. And that's really it. There's really not much to do together or play for an extended period of time that is going to be either someone sacrificing, not gaining something, or you both just want to play the game and enjoy trying stuff out and doing new, because I think the combat system is amazing. I really like this unique style on being able to like take characters and then you set something up here and then you switch back to this character and it still persists. I think that's a really cool concept. And then there's a lot of synergy. There's a lot of combos that could come from that. But if I'm going to put all this work into doing that, I want to be able to at least be gaining something progression wise as I do that, because I legitimately have fun doing these domains. But if I'm just not going to, especially if I'm after 4 attempts, 3 attempts, I just don't get anything, I'm just not going to want to do it. I'm going to want to actually progress my account. And then it's forcing me to have something for me personally. Maybe I'm only speaking for myself here, but it does get kind of stale only exploring. Like, exploring, and like, it's the only way to really progress myself. It's kind of, they have all these options. It's like they kind of bait you in this open world and all these options to do. But when the progression system forces you to do things, because it's really hard gaining you from the things that are in my mind more appealing. I think it's more appealing to play against all these enemies, and then you get to use the full power of your team and you get to do all these combos and stuff. I think that's way cooler than constantly. I just spent all this time progressing and searching and exploring the map. That's fun for a bit for me, but I don't want to be forced to do it because I don't have resin, and they don't give you, in my opinion, enough resin to like, or enough attempts per resin to actually have an enjoyable experience. Because I would like to be able to get like a co-op with my friend going, and we play, what do we play? 3 matches, 6 matches tops, and then we call it. You mean like that's 20 minutes of content right there? That's a bummer for me, and I wish they would have more of that. And then obviously then there's the expectation that this game's going to get patched and they're going to add more stuff. I would like co-op to be something that they really double down on, and I'm sure they will. But as it stands now, I really don't like their economy for the resin and doing these dungeons here. I just think that could be a potential issue. I wanted to bring that up because, and then also something I didn't mention, that there is the dailies, the 4 dailies that you get, and then eventually too, you'll be able to unlock more story with those, with these here. Here, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, so story quests, and then as you do dailies, you'll be able to get the key, unlock this, and then you can do more, adventure later. I just think in the meantime, as you're waiting for that, it's kind of a bummer on how they're limiting so much of the good stuff of this game, or at least the rewards of the good stuff of this game, by such a strict paywall. Last thing I want to say is, for a mobile game really pushed the boundaries in a lot of ways. And it's just really unfortunate to me to see a game that has pushed the boundaries so well when it comes to scale, graphics, when it comes to they nailed so many things. Like the combat system is really cool. Just the amount of stuff you can actually do in game for a mobile game is awesome. But to have that tacked on with some of the worst gacha rates when it comes to pulls, and when it comes to a stamina system that is one of the worst I've ever seen, is really unfortunate for a game that is doing so much. This game is going to have such a big reach. Just look at, so many people are playing. This is the biggest gacha I've ever seen when it comes to a release. But to have a game that's so groundbreaking also be potentially very predatory. We'll see. I don't want to judge them too harshly. In the beginning, pretty much all mobile games have a lot of growing pains in the beginning of launch, and comparing quote unquote good mobile games to bad ones is unfair, because you're comparing it to a game that's had multiple patches. Like all these games, the expectation is that there's going to be pretty consistent patches. So I do want to take this is definitely with a grain of salt here. Maybe they change it up. I can't really tell. But as it stands now, it's really discouraging that a game that is showing the genre to so many people, they're going to experience some of the worst pull rates and some of the worst stamina systems that I've ever seen. And I want to bring that to people's attention that maybe haven't had, probably for the better, not had as many mobile game experiences as I had. I hate for my first video to be negative about a game that I enjoy and I'm going to do content on. But at the same time, I feel like it needs to be said, especially since this game is so popular. And so many people have never experienced these mobile games and don't come in with this expectation. Let me know down in the comments if you agree, disagree. I think a discussion would be great on a topic like this. And you guys have a good one. Peace.